Yes, 8th class. We were just recapitulating the chapter that ruling the countryside. Yes, dear students, we have discussed that at that time the Britishers they turned towards India for the crop indigo. Indigo was a plant used to dye clothes because it was very rich in color. So that's why the European market has raised the demand of indigo because small amount of Indian indigo reached the European market and its price was very high. European cloth manufacturers therefore had to depend on the another plant called wood. But dear students, it was not rich in color. Its color was uh, a palish, you can say, but the people they preferred the clothes which were dyed with indigo. So the French began cultivating indigo in Caribbean islands, the Portuguese in Brazil, the English in Jamaica, and the Spanish in Venezuela. Indigo plantations also come in many parts of North America. First of all, the plantation mean large farms operated by a planter. And they force the labor to work in that. By the end of the 18th century, the demand of indigo grew further because the Britain at that time began to industrialize, means industrialization was there. Now they were making clothes with the help of machines. Now it took less time to complete their work, and definitely a large number of clothes were produced at that time, so they need more markets to sell the things. To color also they need more indigo, and to sell the clothes they need big markets. And the existing supplies from West Indies and America collapsed for a variety of reasons. Between 1783 and 1789, the production of indigo in the world fell by half. Cloth dyes in Britain now desperately look for new resources of supply. When the demand was increased from one side, so people they have to move to another areas to complete the demand of indigo. So at that time the Britain turns to India because at that time they were just starting controlling the other areas, and Bengal they have already controlled at that time, and many of the different things, different revenue system they have introduced at that time, as we have discussed earlier. That was the permanent settlement, Monroe's system, Mahalwari system. By this they just keep on controlling the lands and the maximum farmers or the peasants they turned into laborers, and that because the land was acquired by the Britishers and the money lenders also. Now they gave a good price for indigo, so the money lenders they just started growing indigo in their fields. And definitely when it required more labor, when it required more labor, so it require more labor, so the maximum planters, those who turned into laborer, that came there for work. So two main system was indigo cultivation at that time, Nij and Rohiti. Under the system of niche cultivation, the planter produced indigo in lands that he directly controlled. He either bought the land or rented it from the other zamindars. As I have discussed, many of the money lenders also they have produced indigo by directly employing the laborers. Next, the problem with niche cultivation. The planters found it difficult to expand the area under niche cultivation because it could be fertile, cultivated on a fertile land, and the fertile land was already used in producing the other crops. And once they started growing the indigo, it required more labor also, more water also, and after 2 or 3 years the land become infertile. So the maximum people, when they realize all such kind of things, so they don't want to produce indigo further, but still it was forced by the Britishers and the uh, British officers. So the people, they have to grow the indigo, but the planters found it very difficult to expand the area under the cultivation because they have to grow other crops also. So they needed large area. It was not they were not able to grow it, the indigo in compact blocks. So they could get their lands from, they attempted to lease in the lands around the indigo factory. Nor labor was easy to mobilize. So a large plantation required a vast number of hands because it required more labor to grow indigo. So the people, they started irritating while grow indigo, and the planters, they were also on the side of the peasants and the farmers. The reason being, they came to know the disadvantages of growing of indigo, because they know that after 2 or 3 years when the land become infertile, then what would they do at that time. So and under the royalty system, the planters forced the royal to sign a contract and agreement. At times they pressurized the village headmen to sign the contract on the behalf of the royals. Those who signed the contract got cash advances from the planters at low rates of interest to produce indigo, but the loan committed the royal to cultivating indigo on at least 25% of area under his holding. Means the 20%, 5% share they will have to give it to the contractor. The planter provided the seed and the drill also. They provide the technology and the seeds also, while the cultivators prepared soil, sowed the seed and look after the crops. So a lot of work they have to do it under the growing of indigo. So how was indigo produced? One thing, one area it is shown here, and the village indigo villagers were usually around the indigo factories owned by the planters, because after harvest the indigo plant was taken to the vats in the indigo factory. This was a storage vessel because they have to store it, so it was used at that time. And when the people, they started getting irritated, then they have raised their voice against the Britishers. And then after 1857 revolt, because 1857 was a major revolt under the Britishers, in 1859 many of the peasants in Bengal, they refused to grow the indigo and they raised their voice against the Britishers. As the rebellion spread, Rohit refused to pay rents to the planters and attacked indigo factories armed with swords and spears, bows and arrows. Even the women, they also joined the revolt with pots, pans and kitchen implements, those who worked with the planters. And many of the agents, they also, those who collect the revenue, they also were on the side of the peasants. And in 1859 the indigo royals felt that they had the support of local zamindar and village headmen also. So after that, one committee was set up, that the Britishers, they have advised the people that they have formed one committee. Now the committee will take the decision, and at last the committee realized that it was very difficult for the Britishers, for the Indians to grow indigo. So such thing would not be repeated in the future, they have decided. And at last the indigo was not forced in India. Now the planters, they were free, and as the rebellion, the government brought in military to protect the planters from assault also. And at last it was decided that the Britishers, now they would not grow indigo, or force anyone to grow indigo. So that is all for the day. Thank you.